Merry Christmas, Mom. Love you. You gotta get that out of my face, though.
I've been married to Dave for about 30 years. We've always been a close family. We help each other and we grow with each other. There's a lot up here. They spent a lot of time with the grandkids and made sure that they all had what they needed.
It means a lot to me. Everything in the world. Beg for 2 months. It took him forever to say yes, but he finally did, and he started working on it like during about halfway through summer. And we spent basically like 2 summers in here. All we would do is just hang out in here. We even had like fan, we had a sink, we had water, we had all that up in here. And then he finally had a break. Then that break turned into something bad.
The first time I had to give a family bad news, it affected me horrendously. It was a mother who lost her son, and she couldn't stand. She fell to the floor, completely distraught. I could literally feel the pain in her voice as she was wailing and crying for her son. I think what becomes important in those moments is that you know you did everything you could for that person. You can't leave any stone unturned, because that's the only way to know in your heart that you've done your best.
Jade, I'll see you when I had to.
Yeah,
But
go
it never
for it.
gets any easier.
Oh. Good morning. No way. Wow.
Hi, I'm just calling about a 911 call you made a couple days ago. I understand that you witnessed a vehicle be parked on Monday at I-20 in Broad River.
I saw a truck on the grass.
Okay.
It was on the other side of the rail in the grass. I was coming home from work and traffic was slowing down. I was looking up to see what was happening with the grass, and I saw a person going across 6 lanes of interstate traffic during rush hour.
Wow.
You have a person crossing 6 lanes of interstate traffic.
Is the reason the traffic was slowing down because the guy was running across the road?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. Did you see what he was wearing?
Oh,
I was there for a second. My car was there right now.
Alex said he was sure he got the paint later on.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Bastard back. Good morning, everyone.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Somebody was getting the head away from that truck. Doing as fast as they could. Went across 6 lanes of traffic and in the middle of the day went super good. That's,
We're now talking about 2 sides of the highway. Right.
To cross street out of traffic.
Right.
he ran to the left.
Over here, there's 6 lanes of traffic.
So he had to run that way.
So
Is he even
it's
capable
SUV
of
is packed here.
That's what I was gonna say.
You go hill. Go back on yourself.
Do we know what's on the other side
6
of that?
lanes of traffic. 1,
So up
you,
here, there's a golf
2.
course. And then what's over
Cross that.
But they're just
And
watching
then
athletics.
stuck on the
Sometimes
table.
they're told that they're doing that from there.
Go.
There could be some people using drugs in the area. Whoever ran from the truck could have been going there.
Okay, so one theory is that he got his car there, got robbed, and then the person who robbed him ran across who's probably a drug user. Or the other theory is
17 seconds
he
to
ended up
cross.
getting his
6
vehicle there, then he
lanes
ran
of traffic.
across to a drug area.
Right.
Why would he do that?
He definitely did not do any sort of drugs, correct?
No, he didn't.
Okay. Like he never saw anything.
Anyway,
in
I
the
hope
house
you all have a
or
great
anything like
weekend.
No,
that.
I got 3 grandparents' kids, that's why I know that, you know,
Okay. That he wouldn't touch, yeah.
yeah,
Like he would be trying to help his kids not do the same thing.
exactly. Dave was really trying to.
This
help
geezer
them,
wins 10 grand on
get
a
them
fucking
straight,
scratch
get them
card
all
and
the stuff, you know.
he goes
Okay.
missing. So it's run with
Do you
presume
think the
he's
kids
going
would be
to
involved
crash
in his
this
disappearance?
scratch card. But
I mean, they're all in the drugs.
he find his van and all his tools are in the
A
van.
little bit.
The
here and
best deep wall
Find
tools
out.
in the business.
You can't say
Grinders.
no.
Fucking chainsaws, you know, everything for the roller work he does. So he would not leaving his tools in his van. Not a chance, you know what I mean? Like I said, he'd be fucking taking on you.
I guess a lot of people in the
And
family
look,
go on
he had a few grand worth of tools in that van as well, so he wouldn't just leave his
My
van.
brother Jeff, he was bipolar schizophrenic.
Bipolar schizophrenic.
When he was on drugs and he was tripping, you know. He said he kept hearing voices, even don't watch the best clothes on the bed, soaking gasoline, all up. He burnt down the house. Time we got here, there wasn't nothing we could do about it. It was a disaster.
Well, how can you put out
So the truth
fucking
was on my daddy's
a house
birthday, he
out
was very happy about it.
unless you have access to water?
I mean, he drank, he might have smoked some weed when he was younger. But hard drugs, he didn't like that.
My mom, she don't have the slightest clue.
I'm watching a thing called Mission or Murdered. I'm gonna watch that Mother with J-Lo tonight on Netflix with the chick.
And by that time, I was doing heroin and meth, and I told my dad, I said, I don't have the pain pills. I said, I know you're gonna say no, but I said, I have heroin and meth, and it was really just a joke, you know? I was just joking with him, and he actually came to my room like 2 minutes later and was like, give me something, you know what I'm saying? So I knew right then and there that, you know, maybe every once in a while she was using.
Well, I hope you find this geezer alive.
Our missing person is David Taylor.
Oh.
We think he may have been seen going to this side of the woods. Keep an eye out for his phone, the lottery ticket, or anything that might tell us where he's gone. This is a commonly known drug area. So, be aware.
That's the railroad tracks, the cross farther back behind us.
Tiptoe, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. It looks good, that movie. It's come out, didn't it, today? The mother with J-Lo.
You got anything over there? Nothing this way.
So until the Queen comes. Unbelievable accent. Like, I don't know how I got out of bed with me fucking Batman. I must have been arguing or something in my sleep. Fucking long over me fucking back and so on. Really bad.
I think we might have something over here.
Oh, bother.
Wow. These match the pants he was last seen wearing. They're ripped. They're ripped almost in half. They're covered in blood. Any bullet holes in it?
Wow.
He must be injured.
He must have been killed.
We've really got to find him.
He has a 10,000 lottery
You
ticket.
guys look on that side. We're gonna head down this way. David, are you in here? David. David.
Yeah, we're watching, no problem, chick. We can watch it, no problem. We can watch it. Duh. There's some Chinese food, you know.
They found his pants. They're covered in
Some
blood.
Chinese
They're
food,
almost in half.
good movie. We got Queen. Yeah, you're living the dream. You know, treat your missus decent. You know, like,
We've got buzzards circling.
no matter what it takes. Well, we can't exactly say
found a
no
ravine down the
matter
rock.
what it takes, but
Slumped against a tree.
the most you can do, put it that way.
He's dead. I was hoping we could search and find him and it would have a different outcome. So sad.
How's she gonna look at her daughter? Look, she was searching for this fella and he missed him the day before. He come back a day later and he missed this little area and he was there and the copper said, you know what,
What got him to this point? And that he died alone.
we come here yesterday,
woods.
we were 5 minutes from him and the
You
copper
know what
said,
bothers me?
oh,
What if he was alive yesterday?
what, it was like yesterday.
Where we searched yesterday was only 50 yards from where we found the body.
I believe the copper says,
I mean, you just cannot know if we were this close to him. I will not ever forgive myself.
see the copper, she said she won't forgive herself. You know, guilt is an awful thing, you know. Hey Stevie, guilt is a motherfucker, man, that can consume your whole life. Trust me, I know. So, honestly, I think I was fucking wrestling with a bear in my sleep or something. Or a bear was wrestling with me in my sleep, one or the other.
Or your loss.
You know what I mean? And I think it was the latter. It was definitely the bear.
This is
fucking manhandled me.
his toxicology report. So I'll just go through it with you. We found him and the coroner came out and everything, did the autopsy, as you know, because he looked fine. Like there was no stab wounds, gunshot wound, nothing, like no blunt force trauma, nothing. So it was really confusing to us. So here's the toxicology report.
Hope you have a great weekend.
So it says given the investigative information, this is a methamphetamine intoxication, hypothermia death.
Wow.
So he has meth in his system. I know you didn't think David had ever taken drugs.
See, that don't even sound like him.
Right.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Oh.
I called the coroner and she said that the meth that was in his system could cause him to hallucinate and not
So
know
he
where
had,
he's at.
not only had he had
Imagine
induced
somebody's chasing you, was
meth
fighting you, riding you across
psychosis
the
now.
road.
It's probably
So
the only
essentially,
drug
because
I've
he had
never
meth in
done.
his system and he was kind of delusional,
Out of all the
he
drugs
wasn't
in my
able to
life,
get out of the woods and
methamphetamine,
got a
I've no
crack
desire to do it, thank you, you can keep
We
it.
didn't find the phone or the lottery ticket.
But this geezer had bipolar
But there's no
psychosis.
evidence that anyone was with him.
Sorry, bipolar schizophrenia he had.
As
I
much
know a
as we
little
can
bit about
investigate, we have
bipolar
done
because my
everything
brother
we
has
can.
it, and I know a little bit about schizophrenia because the other one has it. So,
We're so bad we would have found
there
it.
you go,
A day earlier,
bipolar schizophrenia.
we were so
So I
close.
have a brother that's bipolar and I have one that's a schizophrenic, so
Could have done, and I know that.
between the two of them, they're bipolar schizophrenic. Milk and sugar and tea bags, how you know.
My duty as a missing person investigator is to prevent people from coming to harm.
Well,
I guess that doesn't always happen.
you can bring Sexy back or Elvis back, well then there's off the return of the Mac.
I came to this
You
unit
know.
because I wanted to save lives. Death has always been part of the job. But in this role, it leaves you with difficult questions. Was there something I could have done differently? Did I do everything I could have done?
That's a motherfucker about your conscience, you
The
know.
main question I really need to ask myself is
And it leaves you with unanswered
missing
questions.
persons really the job for me?
It's the kind of job you take home with you, you know, 'cause you have to fucking, man, I tell you, you don't get paid enough for what they do. You try go to a mother's house and tell her that her only son is dead.
Family. You know, you have the hope that you're going to find them alive and have that happy reunion, so
Yeah, why not?
that's
Okay.
always disheartening.
You did a great job on this case, in
She
spite
feels
of
bad,
the
she
ending
does.
not being what we wanted it to be.
Right.
It's like one of the
YouTube
hardest
needs to
parts
give
of
its
the job.
fucking head a
To
wobble,
tell a
Lou.
family that it didn't work
You
out
know
the
what I
way we
mean?
hoped it.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we just wanna make sure you're okay.
yeah. Like I said, people are getting stray bullets, basically.
Y'all, this case,
You know,
Candace
and everybody wants everyone
Sierra
to know on
Stevens,
YouTube how tough
17
they
years
are,
old,
don't they?
is missing out of foster care. Her foster-in-law
Fuck's
reported
sake,
her
why don't you
missing,
cop on, man?
and she left all her belongings.
That's a concern.
Her grandparents say that she usually stays in touch with them, but they haven't heard from her either.
I've had at least 2 or 3 girls that have left that area that's in the sex trafficking category.
Crazy behaviour. I don't even want to repeat that word again. It's definitely psychotic behaviour. But it's YouTube.
A Florida State University grad.
When your idols come your rivals, what? On YouTube. Well, I tell you what, if that's who your idols are,
Lots of milk. Loads of
yeah,
chocolate.
you're gonna stay idle for the rest of your life.
Hear them
Shout out to all the fucking, in fact, yeah, shout out to everybody who inspires the next generation to be like them. You're a fucking sheepdog. Why don't anyone want to be like you? You know what I mean? do
A
something.
Florida State University graduate by the name of
You know, I can see someone getting hurt on YouTube, you know.
after officers
Really
found
bad,
cannabis
man.
in possession during
Because a
patrols.
lot, like I said, a lot of
February
these
22nd,
people
2007.
are supposed to be fathers, role models. Really? A role model, alright then. If your kids are listening to you, being toxic all the time, if your kids listen to you argue when they're in bed and they listen to your father smack your mother around, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna start abusing drugs or alcohol. And then when you're intoxicated, you're gonna start beating women. Because you're a cunt. You know. And every community has one, just like an arsehole. Doesn't matter whether it's white, black or brown, and there's loads of different colour arseholes in Manchester, yeah? So shout out to all the arseholes, for all the good arseholes in the community. Yeah, where's this going? Forget about it. Yeah, forget about it. Shout out to all the Scousers. Justice for the 97. Hey, come here. I think you are yellow, like the French, yellow. Here, I don't ever anybody ever refer to Chinese as yellow. France, history will tell us. When I mattered, the French ran and hid. When I mattered, yeah, when I mattered, the French, they ran and hid. Do you understand? History books will write that French are the new Chinese. How about that? For clever people, don't say I haven't got a sense of humour, 2 words. La, 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 la. Calm down, la. Stephen? Oh, my chick has done her hair blue. I love it, darling. I fucking love it. Like that, mommy? I'm gonna have a meal tonight at Chinese. There's no point in getting a meal for 3. We're better off just getting her chicken nuggets.
Right, glass time, glass time.
He's doing all the skirting today.
I love that tune. What's that tune?
Calm down. That's for all the Scousers in the world. I always play that just to show you I love you. 2 words. Whoopsie daisy. Yeah. You see that Porsche that they have in that video, man? Easy $1 million. $1 million. $20. $1 million.
$20.
No, they definitely paid $1 million for that.
$20.
Dollar. Faster. Yeah. No, bro, you're in your fucking dudes. I can't do it. Yeah, all true. See music though. Me and me brothers are wagging. You know, anytime we're all out, the three of us are on table. You know, you don't need no alcohol to get him to dance. Oh, forget about it. Fish. Oh. There's about 15 routines I know for this dance. Just like if I sit down to play you in chess, I'll just look at the board like that. I'll let you have it. You can go for it. Don't worry about it. Halfway through the game, I see 3 ways out. Check, mate. See, I play chess with people that have a little bit of intelligence. The Russians, I love playing chess against Russians and beating them at their own game. One of their games. In fact, I'd play anybody in the world. My brother's playing, it goes on for weeks. Thanks for coming in, Louise. God bless you, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Well, Steve, she'll probably turn on me too, so. I have to get me chick to attach everybody to me channel tonight. I wrote down about 100 names. So every video I do, every one of them will get a notification. Yeah, like I said, I've done what I said I do. You know what I mean, Steve? I'm in a week I've done it live every day, 2-3 times a day, and I've not missed a day. You know what I mean? And like I said, I know what I need to do. It all depends what you get satisfaction out of it, isn't it? It all depends whether you get satisfaction out of it. Go back to music. And I'm gonna use music. Ladies and gentlemen, faster, faster, turn, faster. Okay. Here we go like that. Brilliant.
Well, mate, that's it.
Hey, what?
That's it.
Not bastard.
Right, I shan't be long, brother. Happy to see you in 4 hours.
Yeah, man. Cute Stevie. You should let men fucking sort their own shit out when you go on a panel. You know what I mean? Because if you've got an issue with somebody else, you know what I mean? All his little mates will
Follow suit.
yeah. Oh, with you. Right.
Alright, Stevie G.
Fuck Stevie G. Stevie B.
Alright, Stevie B.
See, there's a big difference in the letter there. Stevie G. Who? Slip. Who? Yeah, him. Whatever you do, don't slip, laugh. We all know how that went. Whoops.
Super man. Alright, off I go. See you, Jack.
See you, baldy fuck. Close that door, you bald fuck. He's doing the skatings now. You know what I mean? And he'll fucking rinse stuff. He doesn't stop till it's done. Yeah, we're gonna fucking give the house a little makeover, you know, even though it doesn't need it. You know, like I said, we're doing it for the Queen, you know. Genocide even too brutal for the Nazis. Genocide against Serbs. Alright, go on then, we'll have a go at that. Genocide, you know much about it, Stevie? I'm a big fan of that work, I'll tell you that. It's very effective. Guys, pay no attention to me, right? I have a fascination in dictators, rulers and tyrants. You know, fucking fascinating. Like into the mindset of a tyrant or a ruler or a dictator, let's say.
And murder a third.
My dad, right, now this is no joke, my dad used to fucking study Socrates and all those kind of characters, you know, like, now I didn't follow suit. I don't know a lot about Socrates, I know what my dad knew. I don't know much about Julius Caesar, I know what my dad learned me.
policy of the Ustasha in
tyrants,
dealing with the
rulers,
Serbs within
dictators
their borders.
fall into the
The
same
Ustasha
line
was the
there,
name
you know.
given to the fascist
Tomato,
movements
tomato.
that aimed to create
Dictator,
independent Croatia in
dictator.
Yugoslavia. When
Same
the
thing.
Axis powers of Nazi Germany and fascist Italy invaded the region, the
I'm a big
Ustasha
fan of
set about
Mussolini.
ridding the area of Jews, Serbs, and Roma in a bid to build a pure
Arrivederci, oh mamma mia, ciao bella, pronto, pronto, mamma mia.
Nazi and Italian allies. It is
Oh
estimated
shit, sorry,
that
yeah, I
somewhere
studied a
between
little bit of
200,000
Italian. Not that I'd ever need it, but listen, as they say, you never know. I'd rather be caught with it than caught against it, or caught without it. Now, me Italian is as good as me Spanish. Me Spanish is as good as me Irish.
We will look at the reasons behind such a barbaric
I don't
performance
speak French, even though I've learned
and
it.
the consequences
I
for
choose
the region.
not to use it.
It's helpful to start with the formation
Cause,
of Yugoslavia. The Kingdom of Serbs,
you know,
Croats and Slovenes was
bellissimo.
formed in 1918 following the First World War. Old empires were split up and the map of Europe was redrawn. The Kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovenes was
That could be
created
Italian
with
too.
these nationalities forming a new state from land originally controlled from the defeated
Eddie, you're
Austrian,
Dutch, you know.
Hungarian and Ottoman
What's that other one
empires.
called?
No regard was given to just how these various cultures were going to work together in
I
the
wanna
new
forget.
state.
It's not
There were
important,
many
like I
different
said, it's
religions,
French, you don't
such as
need it in
Islam,
life.
Orthodox Christianity, and
But
Catholicism,
all I did about
and many more
7,
nationalities. Each of these nationalities
where I
were all
got kicked
pushing for
out,
self-determination.
you know what I mean?
But this was
And I was
largely
learning
ignored.
French at the time,
Serbs would
so
play a leading
it was
role
meant to
in the
be.
newly formed state,
I was meant to get
as they
kicked
were
out.
both the largest of the ethnic groups and had fought
Yeah.
on the side of the victorious
Me French
powers,
is as good as me
whereas the
Russian,
conscripted Slavs and Croats fought for the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
you
In
know.
1929, the Serb King Alexander renamed the country the Kingdom.
My gaffer stayed, right, when I was a chef, he made us greet our fellow chefs in their native tongue. Like, good morning, good afternoon. You know, pleasantries, basics. So, I had to learn a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Italian, not much, just enough, Stevie. You know what I mean? If I'm in Paris, if I ever end up in a phone box and it ends up in Paris and lets me out with somebody fucking God knows who's me travelling companion, but he has hair on his face. So I think I'm in a movie, bro, and I'm in Bill and Ted's Big Adventure, and I'm going through history and I'm giving me opinion on every fucking ruler, tyrant and dictator that's ever lived. You know, now I'm still learning and school's always in session, but look, bro, I'm a student of the game, being life, and I want to learn everything I can. You know, because you never know when you'll need to know how to do A, B, C or D in life, and if you don't know anything about the topic, there's no point in you taking it on. Like I said, where we're from, if you hold a grudge, dig 2 graves. You know the English had a fucking torture book for us. They used to call it the Great Torture Book, I think. And Steve, are you familiar with that? Like I said, see the Vietnam War, I believe what went on there, you know, the whole world was watching kids running up the street after their home being napalmed, after their mom and dad being jerk chicken, you know, that way. And the eyes of the world seeing them photos, what did he do about it? Nothing. You know what I mean? They put billions of dollars back, you know. All the wars, if you like, see if you add them all together, right? They've spent $1 trillion. You know, like when they pulled out Kandahar in Iraq and Afghanistan, the amount of vehicles they left, man, I'd have blown everyone up or the set on fire. You know what I mean? You're not getting to use air technology. Oh, listen, I've read a few books, is all I'll say. Because Stevie, one thing I've always been good at, yeah, is reading. Whether it be people, whether it be faces, whether it be situations, I've always been very good at it. And it's like, it's just one of them things when you grow up and you want to fucking learn, you know. For instance, there's a lot of adults that go back and do school later on in life because they got fucked out of school, and then what happens is they have their families, and then what happens is their family grow up and they're like, you know, back then I become a young parent and life gets in the way, but now that my kids are growing up, you know, I want to go and do a degree, and I can even take an online one, 2 classes a week. That's all it takes. Now you'll have to pay for it. You know what I mean? What do you expect? You don't get this shit for free. It's not like just printing your own degree. Like, this is an online course for 4 fucking years, bro. You know, and like I said, because of the psychiatric evaluations I always thought I could make a great psychiatrist, a great shrink, because I've been to more psychiatric evaluations than most of these doctors have had patients. Do you understand, Stevie? So I always wanted to find out and know a little bit about psychology, the human brain, how it works, you know, body language, fucking, like alphas. I've studied alpha mentality, whether it be a grizzly bear, or whether it be a fire ant, or a queen bee, or a gorilla, or a tiger, or a bear, or a wolf. You know, like I said, there can only be one. In every den, burrow, pod, colony, there's always one. Just like Neo in the Matrix. Do you understand? That kind of way, yeah. That's me, I'm Neo. And here, have you watched the Matrix? Yeah. You take a blue pill, you go down the rabbit hole. You take a red pill, you wake up and you will remember nothing. Shout out to Morpheus. I am a big fan of your work. Morpheus is a don. Anyway, I'm trying to stay healthy, Stevie. Well, he's not going to eat it. Anyway, we're trying to stay healthy, so I'm eating healthy, right? Yeah, you can't beat a cream cake. You know, so I'm living the dream, Stevie. I'm not supposed to be eating cake. So do me a favour, don't mention anything to me missus, right, because she'll go fucking apeshit. Well, she won't go apeshit, but she loves me. You know, so I said, I'll promise you, I'll try not to, I'll stay away from cake and all that, and I won't smoke any more joints for a couple of minutes. Yeah, but listen, Steve, you can't tell her that, because she'll go mad. Bro, fuck it, I'm eating the cake. I paid for it. You know, fuck this. Sorry, Bob. Listen, I'm taking one for the team. This is called Operation Cream Cake in effect. From now, because I'm fucking eating one. You think I'm not eating that? Are you mad? Come here, you. Yeah, me and you are gonna make through that, baby. Whoop. Hey, Stevie, look. Fuck's sake. Cream cake and tea. You will eat cake. Here, to all the world leaders out there. Rather than taking an anthrax vaccine, have a cream cake before you go into battle. and that'll change your life, and it'll do more benefit than an anthrax jab. So here, for all the people who's suffering around the world, I'm gonna take it. I'm always taking hits for the team. So here we go. Now that's something. Yummy. You know. Just as well my missus isn't here. What cream cake? Don't know what you're on about. Cream cake? Me? Never. But yeah, Stevie, as you know, I like learning stuff, and it's very interesting. Like, I believe, right? You know, Jordan. Now, this is just my belief, right? I believe the Americans faked the moon landing to take the eye off the Vietnam War. Now, like I said, when I said I study rulers, dictators, and tyrants, I wasn't lying. You see, trying to think what ideologists, what makes them tick, bro. Like Hitler had an idea. Hitler had an ideology. Now, he believed, like, in order to make an inferior race, everything had to go his way. That mad bastard had a doctor by his side all day pumping amphetamines into him. You know, and do you know what? Half all the German women in Germany, they wet themselves for Hitler. Right? Führer. Superior. Like I said, all these bastard war criminals, man. You know what I do with them? I wouldn't line them up against the wall and shoot them. That's too easy. You know, I'd raise a few hogs, bone-eating hogs, teeth-eating hogs, and I'd feed the Nazis to the hogs. Now what I do is, right now, okay, what I do is, I'd let them feed on your feet, and for an hour, I'd let them feed on your feet, but after they're done with your feet, I'll take them away and let them have a drink of water. And in 7 hours, I'm gonna walk them over to the pen and I'm gonna let them start eating the bottom part of your legs for what they did to them Jewish people. Yeah, now, that's what I'm saying. Genocide can be what you want it. It's just like a narrative on YouTube. But like I said, genocide is made for one reason and one reason only. And it's ethnic cleansing. To wipe us off the face of the fucking earth. I reckon, Stevie, there should be a genocide on YouTube, and there's one needed. You know. People aren't just stealing people's money, bro. They're stealing people's emotions. Do you understand? And that's a rule against humanity.
He reported that 100 Viet Cong had been killed, with no American soldiers dead. The only American casualty was a soldier who had shot himself in the foot by accident. One of the survivors of the massacre was Van Thi Thu Wan. She and her two daughters, aged 3 and 5, were forced into an interrogation ditch by the soldiers. She recalls the soldiers opening fire, reloading, and firing again. They attempted to look for any survivors before firing one final time and moving on. Somehow, Thuan and her daughters were all unharmed and managed to keep quiet enough to avoid detection.
Wow.
They were the only
You're not
survivors
wrong
in
there,
the ditch
Steve.
and climbed over the bodies of 170 of their neighbours.
Wow.
As the massacre
170.
raged below, Warrant Officer Hugh Thompson was flying his scout helicopter at low altitude, just above me.
Yo, I'll put you there,
He saw
bro.
wounded civilians and marked their locations with smoke grenades, directing troops on the ground to assist the injured. After refueling, Thompson
War
returned
is
to
my
me
favourite topic,
and found
Steve.
the wounded villagers he had
Like I
requested
said,
aid for
rulers, tyrants,
had been killed.
dictators,
It was clear that
ideologists.
these were not all combatants, as Thompson saw dead elderly men, children, and mothers with their infants. He landed near a ditch and inquired
You know
what
what
was going
protocol
on.
is, don't you,
A
Stevie?
large group of villagers had been herded into a ditch and had been
Now,
shot. Amongst the
I'll ask you a question. Have you ever seen a movie called Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg in it? All about Marcus Terrell. Do you know that story? Because of them 4 men, they were doing recon in the Helmand province and they sent back the fucking the surveillance photographs, they sent back a few things and they come across a farmer. Well, they look like farmers with goats and that, and they chose to let them go. They had 3 options: neutralise the target, neutralise the threat, or let them go. Either tie them up, let them go, or kill them. Now, the third option wasn't on the table. You know, at the fucking Geneva Convention nowadays, bro, right? You bring back a bullet from war zone, you can get 20 years in a federal prison for war souvenirs. Stevie, you know what I mean, right? Wars are an unfortunate part of fucking society and humanity. And you know the truth be told, guys, every day we're that close to war. You know. That's the bare truth of it. But when it comes to wars, I love stuff about history
corpses,
and wars.
Thompson could see that there were still some alive, and so asked that the wounded be helped. The soldier he spoke to only said he was following orders and that he would help the wounded out of their misery. As Thompson flew off, he saw the soldier.
Every soldier, he has to carry out orders whether he wants to do it or not. Your sergeant finds 4 VC and they don't know whether they're friend or foe. Because over there in Vietnam, see the women, it's like
a remarkable order to his dog
every fucking village,
his crew chief.
You know what I mean? The women were as hard as the men. Your husband, your wife, your
To
husband.
the American soldiers.
But
if the soldiers were to open fire on the civilians, his helicopter crew were ordered to return
like I
fire
said, if you're
on
going
the
off what the
US
Geneva Convention says,
Thompson managed to stop the soldiers from killing the civilians hiding in the bunker.
You know, they're civilians, women, children. You know,
including a young girl who was rescued from a
like I said, souvenirs. You can't bring more souvenirs home now. Here, bro, you want to see the bullets I used to have when I was a kid? That my uncle brought me back from battle, from active duty. You know what I mean? You want to see? Here, he brought home a few shells. Bullet casings like that, Steve. Like that, you know. You can't bring them home now, bro, you know what I mean? You get fucking prosecuted for that shit. But like in 1981, it was different times, bro. You know, we're talking over 4 decades here, Stevie.
Between American and communist forces.
You know, so from day one, bro, I've always had an interest in war.
As a result,
you know, and when I grew up, I studied everything I could about it, and
he found himself
I took back that L, Stevie, you know,
shot down multiple times
because
his life,
I've learned a lot about the military growing up and about
Captain
structure.
Medina began the cover-up shortly after the massacre had
Rank
concluded. He falsely claimed that when the
and
soldiers of
separating
Charlie
men
Company
from
first
boys.
entered the village,
Like if you go
there
to
were
war
Viet Cong
and a
soldiers who
grenade
quickly
goes off
fled.
next to you, or
When
if
he was
you
quizzed on
get
the
pinned down and
inconsistencies between
like
the
you know you have
vast
fucking
numbers killed
snipers
and
on,
only 3
comes up
weapons
in the
found,
hills and the mountains
Medina lied
shooting
to the
at you.
division's commander,
You know,
General
they have the
Costner,
high ground
that the
because
initial
they're up
artillery
there and
strike
you can see
had
it.
killed only 20 civilians.
But
It is believed that Costner was not concerned greatly with his
so
field
because of
duties,
that, I learned about
seeing a
war
combat
theory
position as necessary
a lot.
to
I learned
climb
myself
further
about
up the
health
ranks.
safety. Well, that
Instead,
every
Costner
job I've
avoided
done,
the directives
health
from the
safety is
military
already
assistance
already
command.
paramount. But
Instead, Costner
some
avoided
jobs
the
you have to do
directives
risk
from the
assessment.
military assistance command that
When I was a
accusations of
supervisor
war
for
crimes were
scaffold
to
in
be
Great
forwarded
Britain,
to the
I
staff
had to
judge
make
as
calls
a
every
Saigon,
day, bro.
and drew a line
You
through
know,
the
because
incident,
like I said,
merely reminding Medina
when you're
to
working
keep
in a
up the
job where
rules
you
of
have to do a
engagement in the
risk
future.
assessment every day, you have to
Thankfully,
watch what you're
this
doing.
was not the end of the matter.
Military and
By
pack.
late April of 1968,
Well, bro, in all fairness,
Ronald Wydenhammer,
it's all
a
bollocks, man.
helicopter door gunner, heard rumours of what had happened
But
at
because
Midway.
of potatoes,
Ronald had
a
trained with the
contingent of my
soldiers of Charlie
family moved to
Company
Boston
and had started his own
in
unofficial investigation of the
I
massacre.
think it was 1912, you know. A year before the Irish Republican Brotherhood was born. And then 3 years later, as you know, like the name got
And
changed
began interviewing the
to
soldiers
the
who had
IRA,
died.
you know,
On
from the
his
Irish.
return to the
But
United States,
I couldn't
Ronald
believe it when I
made a
come to the
report of his
UK,
findings
Stevie,
to
and
the
it was
members of
English people
Congress,
that helped
the
me
Pentagon,
when I had nothing,
and
bro.
others in Washington. His letter sparked an official
It's the
investigation
government, bro.
into
It's the
both the
fucking
massacre
government.
itself and the cover-up. Ronald, Medina, Thompson, and Callie were all interviewed. In September of
Now,
1969, Callie
is a
was
nice
charged with the murder of 109 Vietnamese civilians.
Whoops.
At Callie's trial, many soldiers who took part in the massacre did not testify, citing the Fifth Amendment on self-incrimination. Callie was initially sentenced to life imprisonment and hard labour, but following a series of appeals and political interventions, this sentence was reduced. In addition, President Nixon ordered that Callie serve his sentence under house arrest at Fort Benning. In total, Callie served 3 years. No other American soldier or officer was ever convicted for their role in the My Lai massacre. Many of them were able to rely on the Nuremberg defense of, "I was just following orders." The aftermath of the massacre was truly shocking. 504 Vietnamese civilians were dead. Of those who died, around 200 were children, with around 50 being under the age of 3. People returning to the village from the markets, fields or jobs found their family members lying dead in ditches and along the roads. After the My Lai story was uncovered by the freelance journalist Seymour Hersh, the opposition to the Vietnam War only increased. No longer seeing the American soldiers as victims of a cruel war, they were now seen as its perpetrators, often called baby killers. Callie's trial was a turning point. For the first time since the war began, most of the American population believed that the war was unjust. Callie was seen as the typical American soldier in Vietnam, which resulted in once respected soldiers on their return home being shunned, tarred with the same brush. The Vietnam War continued for another 5 years, with the escalation of the war often kept secret from the American public, who had largely turned against the war. In 1998, Thompson and his crew, which consisted of Lawrence Colburn and his crew chief Glenn Andriotta, were finally recognized for the lives they saved, and they were awarded the Soldier's Medal for their acts of extraordinary bravery, not involving contact with the enemy. Had Thompson not intervened, it is widely regarded that Charlie Company's rampage could have continued to the rest of the hamlets in the area, resulting in the deaths of many more innocent civilians.
No.
The My Lai massacre is perhaps the most well-known atrocity committed by the American forces in Vietnam. The subsequent attempt to cover up, combined with only Cali convicted, has led some people to believe that he was but a scapegoat for the larger failings of the military leadership. The systematic approach to covering up the massacre, with a reluctance to follow a proper procedure on reporting such massacres,
Wow.
were never fully accounted
That's
for.
sick, that, isn't it?
Whilst there should be no excuse for soldiers following illegal orders to massacre civilians,
That's sick,
it
that.
is hard to separate the mental condition of the soldiers or the type of war
Like
they were
the
fighting
shit what
from
men
their
say in
actions.
war, man, like, you know
These
what I mean?
were
You see
ordinary
fucking
soldiers
people being
with no
fucking
previous or
murdered,
subsequent
born,
convictions of
blew up,
violent
fucking all that
offences.
shit.
Yet on this day,
You know, you bet
they
your
were
life it's
capable
gonna have an
of
effect on you
wholesale
when you come back
slaughter
into
of
the
innocent
normal
people.
world. And
One
Stevie,
potential
right, a lot of
explanation
these soldiers, yeah, they come home from fucking duty and it's like they go fucking nuts, you know, because they never fully come back from war, you know, like, they're sending boys to do a man's job, you know. Some of these kids, like, grenade go off, they go around them, or if they see someone shot, automatically they freeze. Now, if you freeze during battle, bro, you're gonna catch a stray one. You know, that's the brutal truth about it, the shocking truth. War, bro, makes money. Do you understand? Wars cost money. You know what I mean? But they've spent over $1 trillion, the Americans.
When Imperial Japan launched its attack on a great number of countries in the Pacific, hundreds of thousands of Allied prisoners of war were captured. What would follow for those captured would be some of the most horrendous treatment imaginable, ranging from beatings, death marches, all the way to witnessing your comrades being cannibalized by Japanese soldiers.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. I have
Prisoners
complex
face death
post-traumatic stress disorder. It's no joke,
In
man.
today's video, we will cover
You
the
have to be
varied and
mentally
disturbing
tough
punishments
not
and
to end
violence
your life
inflicted
when
upon
you have
Allied
it.
prisoners of
Because
war
all you
by
do
the
is dream.
Imperial Japanese Army. It is
You know, and
perhaps
I'm no
important to
different,
point out
bro.
that
I'm
this
classic
video will be
case. I've had
focusing on
11
the fate
friends
of
killed,
Allied
bro.
soldiers upon
Friends
being
died in
captured
my
by the
hair.
Japanese Empire.
Like Keith
The
Collins,
fate that
and
befell
that happened at
Allied
14.
citizens, whilst comparable, is slightly different. As to
Never
is the
goes
fate that
away.
befall Chinese civilians and prisoners of war. A grim example being the fate of those
That's
who
why
were
soldiers, a lot of
experimented on in
soldiers.
731.
Yeah.
Nor is it a video to cover the fate that
Oh,
befell
fuck
young
hell,
women
what is it?
who ended up into forced Japanese
Stevie,
military-run
there
camps.
is hundreds to
Each
thousands of
these is
people
a
and
video
soldiers that have
of
taken their own lives
Also,
because of post-traumatic stress
soldiers in
disorder.
this video,
I have
we will be
complex
representing
post-traumatic stress
British,
disorder.
Dutch,
I see
Indian,
videos in my head.
Burmese, Malay, Tongan, Fijian, and all other British colonial
Like I
forces.
said, I mightn't
It
have
is
travelled, but I did join a
with the
fucking army.
1929 Geneva Convention
You know.
as to how prisoners of war were to be treated. Whilst Japan was a signatory to the convention,
I didn't
they
see
never
that one
ratified
coming
the
that night
rules,
on the
and
bus
so
on the way
largely
in.
ignored them.
I remember
The
going
Japanese
past the
military pushed for a
barracks.
society where racial supremacy
As you're
and
touring that
fanaticism
Euston
leads to
Station
create
and
what was
you're
seen
going
as
down
the
the
perfect
side of
soldier.
fucking the barracks.
Soldiers were taught that to
I remember
surrender
going
would
down
break
there that
the
night
shield
and just
code of
looking at the
honor,
lift and
and that those
noticing it
who
was
did
very
surrender
low.
would face
And I seen a
horrendous
couple of
treatment from
comments.
their captors. The ethos that was
You know,
developed
thought about
stated
that
it was
night many
preferable to
times.
die fighting than to even
What we did
consider surrender.
beforehand, what
It was
happened, what do I
pushed
remember.
that the Japanese were
And I
racially
remember the
superior to
lift
all
being
other
really
Asian
low that
races,
night.
and that the darker one's skin, the lower
Really
the
low,
racial
that's the
order
one.
was.
Me Uncle Joe used to
Unsurprisingly,
work
the
there.
job of looking after prisoners of war
Yeah,
was seen as a role
Joe
ill-fitting
knows.
to such indoctrinated
Just like my
soldiers.
grandfather.
It was therefore common for older or incompetent officers to be given the duties of guarding and managing prisoners of war. This disastrous
But war is a
combination of hatred of
motherfucker,
those who
man.
surrender with mismanagement of the prisoner's basic needs would lead to
Mismanagement.
much unnecessary suffering. When Japan entered the Second World War, its goal was to remove the European and American colonial influence over the region. In the 1930s, Japan had already conquered parts of China, and upon their entrance into the war, launched attacks all over the Pacific. American, Dutch, and British colonial holdings were all
Madness.
targeted, and so too were neutral countries.
Before I get into this video, guys, shout out to you subs for sending me over these insane.
There's fucking killings going on with all them gangs in London as well.
Sometimes I ask them if they think it's dangerous doing what they're doing, if they're worried about things, and they'll laugh it off, and that just pisses me off.
Right. And then you go ahead and you kill him.
Yeah.
Serial killer weirdo. Sri Lanka, me lad's been. The terrifying soldier rampaging on 30 tablets of meth. You know, during the war they used to give prisoners meth, Stevie.
I'm Koivunen, and a small group of Finnish ski troops set
Of course
camp
they do.
in a
You
snow
make a
covered
bollocks
forested
walk
area
creates
for a brief
fucking
rest
job.
after a long night patrol.
Yeah.
Before they could settle, the white calmness of the Finnish countryside was suddenly shattered by the sound of Soviet gunfire. The Finnish troopers jumped to their feet and hastily packed as an entire Soviet platoon began to enclose them. In a desperate dash across the woods, Koivunen led his countrymen away from the Soviet forces, but the enemies went after them, and an ardent pursuit across the frozen wasteland ensued. Koivunen and his comrades knew the region well, but crippling exhaustion soon took hold of them.
In the
Now,
snow,
with the Soviets at his
fucks
heels,
you up.
the young trooper was about to collapse. That's when he remembered he was holding Privitin, a German drug that allowed soldiers to stay alert for days at a time.
Privitin,
As he
Stevie,
skied
right?
downhill, he tried to pour a
It's
pill into his mitten-covered
methamphetamine.
hand, but the entire lot fell at once, and Koivunen swallowed the whole batch of 30 methamphetamines. Koivunen was then able to lead the way as his men continued their excruciating escape attempt. But suddenly, the trees and his comrades began to shift into strange shapes as he abruptly drifted in and out of consciousness. One of World War II's strangest meth-fueled misadventures was about to begin. The strange case of Finland. In contrast to most of the other European countries involved in World War II, the Finnish didn't choose a side at first. Instead,
Oh my god, it's just me back fucking.
as Adolf Hitler assaulted Poland in September of 1939, the nation saw in the mighty Wehrmacht a way to avenge the horrors of the Winter War.
But anyway, like I said, I won't be on much now, because my
Finland
chick is
never
coming
entirely
up
fell into
today.
the clasp of the German war
So,
machine and refused to sign
family
the
first,
Tripartite Pact.
Stevie, you know that.
Instead, he signed a less formal agreement known as the Anti-Comintern Pact. With it, Finland remained the only democratic ally of Germany in World War II, but the Finnish never allowed Hitler to use their army for his own purposes.
Fuck Hitler.
Enraging the Allies. During the summer of 1941, the Finnish began taking back their territory from the Soviets, including Eastern Karelia, a region that had never belonged to them. As Germany marched over the Soviet Union and Finland kept regaining its territories, Stalin asked Britain for help in reaching a peace deal with Finland.
Stalin asked
was
for
willing to
help.
cede some of the regions
That's
that he
fucking,
captured,
that's
if Finland
fucking
desisted
funny,
from
that.
its aggressive efforts.
Stalin, do you know how many people he killed, right? And the stick Hitler gets for all the people he killed, and Stalin, nobody talks about that cunt.
More unlikely. Even so, the nation continued to support Germany. By 1944,
Fucking
the Finnish
hell,
had been
fuck
forced
off.
into a defensive
When your
position
missus
as
is
their
out
army
in your
prepared
mouth or
major
somebody
offensive
else,
against them.
fucking hell.
In addition, President Franklin
You know, my
Roosevelt
brother's
called for
chick
Finland
lives
to
here,
cut
man.
ties
She's
with
like a
Nazi
fucking
Germany.
lioness.
Nevertheless, Finnish President Risto Ryti had
Like
given
a
Hitler his
fucking
personal
rugged
guarantee that
lioness.
Finland would not negotiate peace with Stalin as long as he was
I
president.
recognise my
As
chick's
such,
hair
the
now,
war
because it's
raged on.
blue.
But this time it was the Soviets' turn to assault Finland and
Or
dash
red or
towards
yellow.
Berlin. By now, the Finnish had realized their pact with Germany was a losing deal, but one they were forced to uphold. In
Right,
exchange
well,
for their
hell.
unwavering allegiance,
I know I'm upholding. I'm not watching you anymore. Genocide survivor.
In the octagon, Lee Murray fought like a man possessed. His early wins on the regional MMA circuit led to a call-up to the big time. And with his 2004 UFC fight against Jorge Rivera, which he won in the first round by armbar, he scored the standout victory of his career. At the peak of his powers, this promising fighter took the great Anderson the Spider Silva to the limit, narrowly losing their 3-round battle by a decision. Then, it all came crumbling down. A descent into criminality blighted the ferocious fighter's career. Far from leaving his mark on the sport of MMA.
Uh,
9,000 miles from Britain, on the far side of the earth, dozens of sailors would be brutally murdered.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. El Chapo, the man who sold the soul to the devil, Robert Johnson. Okay, just look at this. Oh, fuck. He sold his soul to the devil, who? Robert Johnson, he fucking...
His is synonymous with blues. His music made him one of the most iconic figures in his genre. He is cemented as a legend. And yet, very little is known about Robert Johnson. 29 songs, 2 verified photographs, and hundreds of unanswered questions. Johnson's life, his story, and his artistry is wrapped in mystery to this day, but his music resonates with millions. However, Johnson wasn't always a brilliant musician. In fact, he was considered to be relatively untalented, even up until his early 20s. Allegedly, he improved rapidly on the guitar.
Anyway, the girls
so
are
much
coming
so
up.
that a legend was born
I won't
that
be doing
Johnson
much
sold his soul to the devil so that he could become a master of the guitar. Johnson passed away under mysterious circumstances at 27 years old, giving birth to the infamous...
Fuck off. How about that? Let me see.
Warning, this video contains descriptions of historical events that most viewers will find. Warning, this video contains descriptions of historical events that most viewers will find disturbing. If you know about the sensitive nature, or even if you're not, you might want to reconsider watching this video because this is some serious stuff. You have been warned.
I used to be an anarchist. How about that?
SS Sonderkommando der Levanger, or Special Unit der Levanger, was a German SS penal unit full of savages who committed numerous atrocities in Belarus, Poland, and Slovakia. They were known as the Black Hunters, and their actions are on par with what happened in Cambodia or Nanking. So even though my Patreon is actually talking about them, I don't know how YouTube will take this video. The CEO of YouTube recently stated at the World Economic Forum that she actively shadow bans content she deems to be borderline, which explains why YouTube
shadow ban
the video on the Holocaust.
Have you ever heard of that word before, Stevie? Shadow ban.
People learn about the Holocaust, can we? Therefore, I'm going to mask my speech as much as possible and not go too in depth with the details. I'm also going to recommend
Why
the
not,
book,
Raymond?
The
I
SS
hope you have a great
Brigade,
weekend.
The History of the Black Hunters by Christine Ingrau, if you want to know more about this unit. It's the most detailed book in English that's still widely available and does a very good job of exploring this topic. In fact, a significant amount of the information in this video comes from that one source, because it's not widely covered in English. I'll be relying heavily on it here, so I do think you guys should check it out if you want a less censored account.
It's all about a brigade called...
Anyway, let's start with the leader himself. Oscar de la Vanga was born in 1895 into what sounds like a relatively normal upbringing. He then joined the German army in 1913 and took part in numerous battles in the First World War. He started off marching through Belgium before being transferred to the 7th Württemberg Division in late 1916. He ended up fighting on the Eastern Front in April 1917 until November 1918. Note that his experience on the Eastern Front was during a time when the Russian army was collapsing. This, no doubt, shaped his...
Yeah, I do watch shit about war. Yeah, I'm grand, right, thank you.
Of the unwashed and
yeah.
inferior races he saw.
Could be a lot worse, I suppose, you know.
See my video on that. The 7th Württemberg
But I'm
Division
blessed to have a
went
good
to
weekend
strength
ahead of me, so,
but De La Vangue
you know,
decides to head
I'm grateful
straight
for
jail.
that. Hunting and being hunted in Kenya's Masai Mara. Yeah, we're going with that. Hey, my kind of shit. I love watching anything about the Serengeti in Africa. One of the most dangerous plains the earth has to offer. The Great Migration. Watch it sometimes, yeah. Now, this is, I love watching this shit, right? Every year a load of wildebeest run the gauntlet and they try to get across that road without a little baby elephant. Gets eaten by a fucking lion. And here, check this.
The expansive stage of the Masai Mara in Kenya is an
I love you, baby.
some stunning combats.
This bastard thing. Like I said on here, if you're lucky enough to make it across the water, you have the fucking lions and tigers and cheetahs and all sorts on the other way. Like you have buzzards. If you look up in the air and you see vultures, you know what I mean, you know there's a fresh kill underneath. Or not too far from it. Vultures or buzzards, whatever one, but like I said, Masai Mara, the big hunt. Like I said, basically, long story short, wildebeest in the water. We have soldiers, sailors in the water. No, you fucking don't. Cause 1,000 crocodiles is just fucking at you.
Is the land of the Masai. These are semi-nomadic pastoralists who live off their herds of cattle and are known to be excellent warriors. The Masai Mara National Park lies in the southwest of Kenya in East Africa and borders on the Serengeti in Tanzania.
Hey,
The dry period begins in June.
my fucking G.
Innumerable herds of wildebeest join up to migrate.
You know they go 500 kilometers to get to that bastard water. And when they get to the water, there's like 2 million crocodiles waiting for them, you know, all waiting for them. Every year they do it. You know, 500 kilometers for water. You know, at least we're lucky we can buy it in bottles. You know what I mean? Them cunts have to put their neck on the line to get a drink.
At first sight, it may not look particularly threatening.
Tell you one thing.
Indeed, the main artery that
When you
keeps the
have
Masai Mara alive.
thousands of wildebeest trying to get up an embankment, right? They're slippy as fuck. They're sliding back and they're looking back, and next of all, you just see eyes everywhere, you know what I mean? Next of all, game over. And that's part of the food chain. You know, shout out to Mother Nature. You know, she gives and she takes away.
Where else can lions choose from such a well-stocked table, provided they're ready to wait a bit?
If you're lucky enough to get across the water, that plain of water there being the Serengeti, right? Every year, wildebeest travel 500 kilometers. I tell you what, that's a brave bird, man.
The yellow-billed stork trawl the bottom of the river shallows for an endless supply of fish. Only here can the heavy-hoofed animals of the Masai Mara find drinking water in plenty.
Whoa.
Banks are often crowded with wildlife for that very reason. That slip could have ended in tragedy. Because for many animals, the Mara River,
How sick is that?
nearly 400 kilometers through the savannah, is the most hazardous river in the whole of Africa. Because of these fellows.
Oh yeah, and hundreds of the bastards.
Crocodiles spend the majority of their lives just lying around in their armored skins, doing nothing. As cold
Real dinosaurs.
their body temperature through their own
You know,
activities.
real fucking
They have
dinosaurs, man.
intensive
Them
sunbathing
crocodiles.
sessions to enable them to carry out their sorting.
Some of them can be like 20 feet long.
Webs between their toes on the rear feet help them to swim.
Like, once one of them grips hold of you, man, automatically they'll drag you into the water, drown you. Do a couple of death rolls here and there, rip an arm off here, rip a leg off here, you know, and then the sister's gonna come over and finish you off, you know what I mean? Grip you by your head, squish you in her jaws, and that's you done, game over. Missing person report, yeah, you'll never find them. Why? Because you got fucking eaten by crocodiles, you dummy.
Into an underwater torpedo in an instant.
Yeah, that's what they like, an underwater torpedo, man, in an instant.
At the moment, though, there is little prey.
Apex predators,
so a more leisurely pace is perfectly acceptable. Walking along the riverbed uses
you know, some of them are big, do you understand? Just like great white sharks. Hey, have you seen the trailer for the new Megalodon with Jason Statham in it? It looks fucking brilliant. I've watched the new Avatar, you know, Avatar 2, I've watched it, it's very good. And I watched that fucking thing with Russell Crowe in it, about the priest. It's like The Exorcist something, I forget what it's called.
A lunchtime doze underwater is only possible for a crocodile if the water is very warm. The geographical range of their existence is restricted to tropical and subtropical regions.
But like I said, Marcus doing all the skating boards, all the hulls done. He's painted everywhere. Now he's just glossing all the skating boards. You know what I mean? Giving them a touch up. Do that'd be the same as the house, same in the garden. The garden's perfect, it is. You know, great place to play cards, but if nobody knows how to play the bastard game, you know, what's the point in having me dream if I can't have anything to play cards with?
These socially orientated animals form
But I'm happy with what God's given me, you know.
Underwater, these heavyweights even look elegant thanks to the buoyancy effect of the water. Rather than actually swimming, they tend to walk underwater. They spend most of the day in the water because their sensitive skin would crack in the intense summer heat. They can stay underwater for up to 5 minutes before they have to come up again for air. As a rule, one older bull will live together with a group of females.
Stevie, fuck off, will it? Stevie Google.
And maintain friendly contact with one another.
Man, I tell you, the only amount of people that get eaten by hippos in Africa. You know, people look out for the crocodiles and the fucking lions and tigers. Yeah, you don't want to get in the way of one of them fuckers, like I said, they grip you. You know, you seen what one done to Kevin Hart and Jumanji. Do you understand? I've seen that work. You know, if you watch Jumanji, you see he gets ragdolled and shook, eh? Yeah, go on. No bother, honey. Right. 1 second, you baldy bastard. Maybe there, right? Oh. What? It should be right next to the kettle.
No, it's not there.
Well, you're gonna have to have a look. It's in the kitchen somewhere.
It's in the coffee tin.
It's in the coffee tin, yeah.
You're brave.
Yeah. In the fucking coffee tin.
What's the attitude?
Please, thanks. 2.5 sugar.
2.5?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Oh, look at that little elephant, man. Oh, imagine he gets grabbed by the fucking crocodile. Look at him.
Baby elephants to learn what useful tools their trunks are.
He's only a baby elephant, man. And he'll get grabbed by his little fucking his little trunk and swung into the river, man. Look at him.
Fulfills both the grab and the cutlery functions. This little one can't start learning a moment too soon, even if it is kept fed by its mother's milk for many months.
Elephants are sick, man.
In greetings, the trunk acts as a handshake appendage, and the usual smells tell the other party the identity of the caller.
What?
Candles.
Yeah, man.
I told Mark, they're in the red box next to his bed in a blue carry bag.
Oh, brilliant.
Right. You know what you should do as well, Judy? Put them flowers that are on the microwave instead of these for yours.
No, I know what to do. I know what to do. Yeah, thank you. I won't put flowers on them. I know what to do. I'm not a bleeding dummy, you know. But thank you anyway. Right, let me put this down here. What a big trunk he has. Look, she's sitting there, look, listening, look like a jackal, look. She's listening. No, you could, like,
The brothers are so involved that they don't even notice the family.
yeah, man, well, like I said, you'll be here soon, won't you?
One youngster has discovered the hidden camera. But the mother has her sights on something else.
Right, Mac, a true one up, it's on the top towards there.
Either runs away or attacks. But what she has discovered does indeed run away. She begins the hunt.
And Stevie mentioned something about Kate. He's lying. I'm telling you, he's lying, don't believe him.
But the cheetah is even faster. This big cat can even reach speeds
Yeah, always. You know, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's fucking the same time where Stevie is too. Where do you think he is? In fucking Saudi Arabia or something? You don't like...
The big cat's strategy is to cause the prey to trip up with a carefully aimed hit of the paw. And yet...
See you in a bit, Jamie.
Yeah, man.
See you later.
Yeah, man.
Despite that particular failure, no other predator has such a high success rate as the cheetah.
You know what I mean?
Its hunting
It's
sorties
like...
result in a catch.
Put your arse that way, please.
After hunting, the mother needs
You
a
know
long
what I mean?
break to protect herself against overheating. The brothers also need time to recover. Full stomachs.
Bob, nobody'd ever take your job. You know, you make well better tea than she does. I ain't telling her shit. She's gone. Yeah. Make a bad fucking headache.
Thanks to the hippos.
Fuck them, Bob.
Crocuses make use of the heavyweight creatures as platforms in their search for insects, some of which they find on the hippos' heads. The crocodiles are even better camouflaged here than in the clear waters of the main river.
Well, he's not much camouflaged. I can see the bastard. Oh, they'd love to flush loads of them little crocodilian bastards. They're coming out back. Look. Crocodilians, little fuckers, look.
3 months ago in a nest made of sand and vegetation residues.
Yeah, look.
The brooding temperature determines the
Them Komodo dragons do hunt them. Do you smell them? Look, the little fucker getting up. Go on, Forrest, run. I'll name the first one. That's Forrest. Yeah, I don't know what to call him. Lazy eye.
The young will be female. The
John Joe was swallowed. Yeah, the gypsy crocodiles. You know, yeah, the gypsy crocodiles. They're a special breed of animal. We don't argue, bro. Yeah, me and me missus don't argue, bro. No, I can't say that.
Hardly have they left their nest when they are approached by a cavernous mouth. Just hatched, and their short lives already at an end.
Look at them getting picked up by their mother, and she transports them in her mouth.
Transporting them safely to the water. Female crocodiles are extremely caring mothers and keep a watchful eye on their young.
You know, making mad fucking crocodile noises to lure the little fuckers. Come here.
Demonstrate their talent at surprising their prey.
And they think it's another little crocodilian going.
May not need to worry much about a crocodile.
You know, but there's loads of different calls, like I said, man.
It's not only the fact that
Even theirs have calls.
The animal has to apply considerable muscular effort to move its head downwards. Giraffes have a powerful tendon that keeps their head and neck upright when at rest. The river and its green banks attract many giraffes. For a long time it was felt that these animals had developed their long necks simply to give them unrivaled access to the higher leaves on the trees.
The neck on him, man.
Often eat
He's got some neck.
height.
Alright, Dave. Yeah, bro. I totally agree with what you said.
Used for a completely different purpose.
You know, like, we're meant to be fathers, you know, but there's not many good role models on here, if the truth be fucking told. Because I don't know what's going on in your household, mate, but the way I see it is, only a man can raise a young man and put morals, ethics, trust, honour. You know, it's like, and it's not clever, and somebody's gonna end up getting hurt. You're gonna get a notification one morning saying this person's dead or being stabbed, or you know, like I said, here. Now, like me or not, but my way is work. Would you say that I raised a productive young man? Here, don't talk the talk if you can't walk the walk, guys. You understand? Here, I fucked my entire life up, right? Now, should the children be judged for the fucking sins of the father? Get the fuck out of here. It's like, I was on my lad's neck till he was 18, and then when he went to uni, he come back a fucking drug addict. But he got a degree, all his mates were like that. Dad, don't worry about it, it's the first year of uni. Now, I'm an ex-offender, I'm an ex-criminal, and at 21, I made a decision in jail that this had to stop, otherwise I was gonna either end up dead, end up seriously hurt, or never found again. Because the life I was leading, and it would have been my own fault, and you know, I deserved that. I should have gotten that, but God blessed me and he got me out of Dodge. And when I come to the UK, it was English people that fucking helped me when I had nothing. So, for every Irish person that doesn't like an English person, yeah, they're fucking good people. It's the bastard government. Anyway, listen, and I tell you, right, it's up to us to form and mould the next generation, you know what I mean, of positive, productive young gentlemen and young ladies, you know, because they could be a prime minister. You know, one day, I have a son that's working on legislation, policy and restrictions. His daddy was a criminal, a drug-selling scumbag, ended up getting his son to uni, his son got a degree, and now the son is helping hundreds of people all around Liverpool. Oh, you understand? With autism, especially ADHD, LDs, every kind. There's kids come in there from Alder Street Hospital, Make-A-Wish Foundation. Some of these kids still be dying and they're laughing. You know what I mean? Take fucking life a day at a time. Help your fellow man. Make sure you raise your son with manners. Manners, respect, morals, you know, and intuition. There's no solution without confrontation, guys. On my way. Shout out to YouTube's Coffee Nation. You can support my channel by buying me a coffee, and if you don't want to buy me a coffee, you can come in and sub to each other. You know, mental health is important. Autism awareness is important. Mental health awareness is important. And I'm going to end on that. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. Justice for the 97. There's no